Baseball has always been a family favorite of ours. Season after season, attending baseball games at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis has become a family tradition. For my mom and I, it was summer nights at Busch Stadium where we would watch our Cardinals win. It was a time of bonding for us. For my mom, this was not a new tradition. As a child, she would go to baseball games with my grandfather to see the Royals play. For them, it was a time to bond during America's favorite pastime. Years later, my mom would continue this tradition with me. She took me to my first baseball game when I was only 4 months old. I like to say that's when I first became a Cardinals fan, a lifelong one. I still have memories of going to games at the old Busch Stadium and cheering for Mark McGwire, my favorite player at the time. St. Louis to me is the perfect baseball town. Everyone wears Cardinals gear all year round, and at games, there's awesome food, awesome baseball, and awesome fans. Oh, and there's plenty of glimpses of the famous Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales. During my senior year of high school, I found out my family was moving away from St. Louis to Virginia, and I immediately realized I would miss the city I grew up in, especially the baseball stadium being only 20 minutes away. I realized that my last game would be the senior game all graduating seniors got to attend at my high school. So the day of the game finally arrived, and we boarded the buses to attend my last game. I realized I had to enjoy every sight and moment from the game. It was pretty easy though, Busch Stadium is beautiful. As I sat in my seat, I remembered all of the games I had attended with my mom and all the stories of her childhood at baseball games. I knew then that my mom had also continued this tradition as a memory of her and her father, who I never met. My mom tells me he would have been proud of how big a baseball fan I had become. And then I could just sit back and enjoy the game. At the end of the game, I left the stadium and had one last look at the building that had so many memories for me. And then the next day, I moved to Virginia and to start my new beginning. A few months later, as I was a freshman at JMU, the Cardinals were making a big splash and going to the World Series. All the way in Virginia, I was still repping the Cardinals gear, during Halloween weekend, of course. But on the night of my first snow in Virginia, my Cardinals won the World Series. I could only be a little bummed I hadn't been there. The stadium that I had come to love and that held so many memories for me was in an uproar for their world champions. The next day, during the World Series winning parade, you can see how much St. Louis is in love with the Cardinals and how great of a city it really is. I haven't been back to Busch Stadium in 4 years, but my love and memories made with my mom will never fade. I hope to be back soon, but until then, I guess some Nationals games will have to do, but my heart will always be in Busch Stadium.